Welcome to Center for Hospice Care's Mishawaka, Indiana campus. I'm Chris Tellman, Chief Development Officer of the Hospice Foundation. Standing here at the Captain Robert J. Hyler Jr. Veterans Memorial. And we gather here virtually today to remember and honor veterans who are among us and remember with gratitude veterans who are no longer with us. As our ceremony continues, please join me in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is now my privilege to introduce to you a veteran of the United States Air Force and Chief Operating Officer of the Hospice Foundation, Mike Wargo.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening and welcome to Center for Hospice Care's Mishawaka campus and our 5th annual Veterans Tribute Ceremony here at the Captain Robert J. Hyler Jr. Veterans Memorial. For those of you who may not be familiar with who we are and what we do, I would briefly mention that Center for Hospice Care is an independent, not-for-profit agency providing hospice and palliative care services across 9 northern Indiana counties. We've been serving patients and their families for more than 40 years and have 4 care offices located in Mishawaka, Plymouth, Elkhart, and LaPorte. We recently opened the Ernestine M. Racklin House, our newest 12-bed hospice inpatient unit, which is located on our Mishawaka campus immediately east of this Veterans Memorial. Throughout our history, we've cared for more than 40,000 patients and expect to care for more than 2,000 patients in this year alone, which places Center for Hospice Care in the top 3% of all hospice programs in the United States, and there are more than 6,500 hospice offices across the country. We are honored to serve our nation's veterans, and they are a significant component of those for whom we provide services. Center for Hospice Care is part of the national We Honor Veterans Initiative, which is a collaboration between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. Its purpose is to raise awareness among veterans regarding end-of-life issues and the many benefits available to them. This is very important when you consider that more than 7,708 Americans die every day, and 1 out of every 4 of them will be a veteran. So as part of this special We Honor Veterans program, our goal in this community is to address their end-of-life needs, their end-of-life care, and to serve them as they have served us. Center for Hospice Care has achieved the 5-star level, which is the highest level in the We Honor Veterans program. As a level 5 partner, we integrate veteran-specific content into our staff and volunteer orientation and education. We provide special programming like pinning ceremonies as we thank these hospice veterans for their service. And sometimes during these ceremonies, veteran hospice patients will say, you know, nobody's ever thanked me before. And that's really what the Veterans Memorial and our program is all about, remembering that and never forgetting. I want to sincerely thank our many donors of plaques, trees, and bricks in memory of or in honor of their loved ones. It's through gifts like these that we are able to maintain and sustain this beautiful Veterans Memorial. I now have the distinct pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. Since 2017, Senator Todd Young has represented Hoosiers in the United States Senate and previously served 3 terms as the U.S. Representative for Indiana's 9th Congressional District. A 5th-generation Hoosier, Senator Young grew up watching his parents work hard in order to support the family. His first jobs were like many of ours, delivering newspapers and mowing lawns, but he even provided janitorial services at the family business. He knows how to work hard. After graduating from high school, Senator Young enlisted in the U.S. Navy and 1 year later was offered an appointment to the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis. He graduated with honors in 1995 and accepted a commission in the U.S. Marine Corps. After training as a rifle platoon commander and service as an intelligence officer, he was then assigned to lead a recruiting effort in Chicago and Northwest Indiana. During this time, he put himself through night school at the University of Chicago, where he earned his MBA with a concentration in economics. In 2000, then Captain Young was honorably discharged from the Navy. He spent a year abroad where he earned a master's degree from the School of Advanced Study in London before returning to the U.S. to work for the Heritage Foundation and later as a legislative assistant in the U.S. Senate. In 2003, Senator Young returned home to Indiana. He soon met his wife Jenny, and he put himself again through night school, this time earning a JD from my alma mater, Indiana University. They married in 2005 and worked together at a small law firm in Paoli, Indiana, which was started by Jenny's great-grandfather. Today they reside in Bloomington, Indiana, with their 4 children, Tucker, Annalise, Abigail, and Ava. Joining us virtually, it's my pleasure to introduce Senator Todd Young.
I'm Senator Todd Young. Thank you for inviting me today to participate in the Center for Hospice Care Veterans Memorial Tribute. Last year, I traveled to a tiny diner in Auburn, Indiana. There, I presented a military service medal that was nearly 75 years in the making. Over the last year, I've thought a lot about that moment at Sandra D's Cafe and what it meant to me. Since this is the annual Veterans Memorial Tribute, I'd like to share those lessons. Serving in the military for 10 years, I've seen firsthand the sacrifices our men and women in uniform make, and learned just how much sacrifice is required of our troops. In the Marines, our slogan is Semper Fidelis, meaning always faithful to our nation and to those who protect it. That's why I wear a memorial bracelet around my wrist. The bracelet honors Lance Corporal Alec Terwisky. Alec was a fellow Marine from the small town of Du Bois, Indiana. On September 3rd, 2012, Alec was tragically killed in Afghanistan. His mom, Sandy, asked me to wear this bracelet to honor his memory, and I do so proudly every day. It takes a special person to take up arms in defense of our country, a belief in a cause greater than oneself. That very belief makes me think back to that cafe in Auburn. You see, Sandra D's father, Robert Egley, was a World War II veteran who survived the war. He lived a long and happy life back home in Indiana, and I was proud to help Sandra recover her father's missing Bronze Star. During a battle in the Second World War, Robert's unit saved the lives of 511 American prisoners of war in the Pacific Theater. His actions allowed them to return home, to marry their sweethearts, to start a family, and to live the American dream. That story is the story of so many of you in the audience today. Hundreds of Americans have children and grandchildren who are alive today as a result of your beautiful acts of courage, patriotism, and sacrifice. For these reasons and more, we must never stop working to ensure our veterans receive the respect that they deserve. On this Veterans Day, on behalf of a grateful nation, I thank you for your service.
Thank you, Senator Young, for joining us virtually today. Now I'd like to introduce one of our Center for Hospice Care chaplains, Trevor Foley, who will dedicate our memorial items.
Thank you, Chris. Being in hospice chaplaincy for 15 years now has taught me a lot about people. We can be very different in terms of our beliefs and what we find important in life. On the other hand, we also hold many things in common. In his first inaugural address, Ronald Reagan said, "Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay the price." Interestingly, both freedom and dignity are ideas which hint at the existence of differences. Freedom suggests choice, which implies various options, and dignity relates to personal respect or worth, regardless of these individual differences. At the Centre for Hospice Care, we believe strongly in the freedom of individuals and their families to have choices in regards to their end-of-life care. Furthermore, one of CHC's core values is dignity. Therefore, we also believe that each of our patients and their families deserves respect and quality care regardless of age, gender, race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, diagnosis, or ability to pay for services. As implied in the earlier quote, we recognize that not all human beings are afforded such freedom and dignity in their lives. This is a privilege which we enjoy as citizens of this nation, and because of the men and women who have willingly given themselves to protect and uphold these values. We seek to honor and remember these men and women with this Veterans Tribute Ceremony, and with the items that have been donated in the names of some of these selfless Americans. Centre for Hospice Care thanks our veterans, as well as those who have donated these items in honor of or in memory of these people who have given so much. These items, which we now dedicate, will stand as enduring tributes to our veterans and the values they've sought to preserve. And now we're going to read the names of the veterans being honored here today. Major Robert H. Crable, U.S. Marine Corps. Ship's Serviceman Laundryman Bernard J. Van Pommel, U.S. Navy. Corporal Ed Healy, U.S. Army. Corporal Hugh Healy, U.S. Army. Private First Class Jim Healy, U.S. Army. Corporal Joe Healy, U.S. Marine Corps. Chief Petty Officer 3rd Class Larry Healy, U.S. Navy. Master Sergeant David D. Towner, U.S. Army. Technician 3rd Grade James E. Gerstbauer, U.S. Army. Corporal Vern L. Thompson, U.S. Army. Communications Yeoman 3rd Class Miriam T. Oakes, U.S. Navy. Technician 5th Grade Edward J. Savage, U.S. Army. The Veterans of American Legion Post 400.
Thank you, Trevor. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. We're grateful for your support that helps us care for our veterans. Have a good evening.